Hi there, Internet Associate. It's Anthony, and I'm about to watch another episode of The Walking Dead. This is Season 3, Episode 13, Arrow on the Doorpost. And after last episode, which was pretty amazing, but also pretty unique, I'm expecting that they're kind of going to go back to the more conventional format this time around and put us back into that story and plot that we've been following over the course of this season so far. So I'm looking forward to it. No idea what to expect, but I'm sure it'll be great. So let's go ahead and get into Arrow on the Doorpost. Daryl and that crossbow. Such a legendary combination. Okay, Herschel was strapped. He is strapped. Ooh. They got them guns that they got from Morgan. Whoa. Is this about to be where we're really picking up at, or are they gonna like go back in time and loop us back around to this? This is a crazy starting point.
We have a lot to talk about.
I'm surprised that they were even able to talk to each other at all. But I'm glad to see it. Hopefully it doesn't end up with somebody dying, and if it does, hopefully it's the governor. Hopefully it ends up with, them coming to some type of agreement and the governor, decides to stop, doing the terrible things he's doing. But obviously I'm just hoping for a lot of things that is probably not gonna happen. You gonna search him for other weapons?
Suit yourself.
Okay. Rick is not gonna remove his. And that's alright, because he does not have to play by this guy's rules. Oh, and yep. What do you know? Yeah, definitely doesn't feel right.
Heads up.
Especially him offering to put his weapons up, because he'd only do that if he had some type of other plan.
I heard about the raids, the heads, Maggie.
Merle did that.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
You know all about me, and I know
said,
all about
"You
you.
know
I
what
don't
I'm
care
talking
about
about."
any of that.
Who the hell are you?
Milton Mammoth.
Great. You brought his butler.
I'm his advisor.
They laughed.
What kind of advice?
We don't need this. If all goes south in there, we'll be at each other's throats soon enough.
Like, really? Just give it time.
We told Rick and Daryl that we'd stay put.
I've changed my mind, sweetheart. Being on the sideline with my brother out there ain't sitting right with me.
Three of them are right in the middle of it.
Yep, Merle's back to it, kind of. Not to the full degree that he usually is, obviously, but just in the sense that he's kind of, causing friction or tension or causing a little bit of opposition against the plan that they've already established. Because I was talking a couple episodes ago how they were having Merle pretty much just blending in and going along with everything. I was like, is that a one-time episode thing? It looks like it.
Sorry, son, but your dad's head could be on a pike real soon.
I can't see where Merle's coming from, though. I can understand his logic.
Can't take the risk of putting them in the crossfire. It's my decision, it's final.
Yeah, there you go, Glenn.
No one crosses, no one trades.
He's right. We should hammer out boundaries and leave each other
Sorry,
alone.
what is this?
It's a solution.
It's like, it just doesn't sound like it's going to work at all.
Told him what? Would you step outside?
What?
Rick and I, we got a lot to talk about.
I'm not
I
leaving.
came to talk to him.
She's like, I'm the moderator. Yeah, because that whole east of the river, west of the river thing, I mean, I guess it sounds like a good idea that could work, but it also sounds like something that's just inevitably going to lead to another war. Because they're just going to be like, I mean, something would happen eventually. I really wish this could work out. I just have no idea how it could possibly work out without them killing one of them.
I thought you were a cop, not a lawyer.
Either way, I don't pretend to be a governor.
Huh. I mean, in this world,
I'm the leader.
You're the town
everybody can take on whatever role
knocked over my fence
they
and
need
ripped
to.
up my yard.
That it might be your partners. But you're caring for her, and I admire that. Restitution for your own lack of insight. For failing to see the devil beside you.
Oh, I see him all right.
He said, I see him. And I mean, when Shane and Rick were originally partners and everything, I don't think Shane was the devil or anything. And what he's talking about with it potentially being Shane's baby, that was when Shane and Lori thought Rick were dead. So, I don't know. I think by the time Shane was really doing all of his, kind of like, had changed into the Shane that he ended up becoming, I think Rick was pretty aware of who he was. I don't think he was like overlooking it. I think he was just trying to, stop it or impede it or not believe it at least. But I don't think that it was like a thing where Shane had just gone sour and Rick was just completely unaware.
I recorded it.
For what?
Somebody's got to keep a record of what we've gone through. It'll be a part of our history.
That makes sense.
It does. Will the world ever go back to a time where all this stuff is just history and kids are learning about it in social studies? It's hard to imagine.
Pussy.
Are they in a competition now? Are they keeping score? Ah, he took his kill. They just turned this into arcade mode. Who can kill the most walkers?
For Menthols.
Wow, he was really sharing though. I feel like these two actually really like each other, honestly.
They'll give the word. I know.
Why do I feel like I'm looking at Romeo and Juliet?
You cut off your leg to keep the infection from spreading. Interesting.
So it is, because that's one thing I wasn't sure of. I'm like, I know the bite kills people, but I was also wondering if he had left his leg on too long, if it would have spread or whatever through his body. Because I know like the way it works is the bite kills you and then you die and you are already infected or whatever. But I know also like, because if you die without getting bit, you'll turn since you were already infected. But that basically, I'm just saying that kind of answers a question that I had. Because I was wondering if it mattered that it spread through his blood or whatnot, if his leg was on too long. Also, I wish that Rick and the governor could get along the way that the people within their groups are getting along.
Showing you my way.
I'm not showing you.
I just met you. At least buy me a drink first.
Really? This guy's so forward.
I was at work one day, taking shit from a boss half my age. And
The way this is lit, it almost makes Rick look like he has one eye too. I don't know if that's intentional. I know, it might just be a coincidence in this case, since they oftentimes have, the shadow side of the face.
you even put it you on. Just to check in. Asked me to pick something up for dinner.
I like that they don't shy away from humanizing this guy and giving him his own backstory and struggles. Ow! That looked like that hurt, falling down those stairs. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Would it be that irrational? Ooh. Okay, Beth. I was gonna say, would it be that irrational to just murder Merle right now? He's so upset.
So let's end it. Today.
Are those two just gonna square off?
Do this. We can walk away.
Well, I mean, that's what I want him to do, but he wants Rick to surrender.
You have something that I want. I don't want you in prison. That doesn't sound safe at all. I mean, you lost your wife, another man.
He's just rubbing it in.
Moving on.
What good would that do me? Best you stay where I can keep my one good eye on you.
So what does he want? Andrea? You gonna take his eye off to say this? Does he want his life?
Oh, Michonne.
Oh, he wants Michonne?
Turn her over and this all goes away.
He wants to kill her.
All those lives of your prison.
Because he's mad at everything she did to him.
Is she?
That's why he took the eye patch off. Wow. That's a big test for Rick right there. And this is another one of those situations. Those kind of, those situations that ask a question of morality.
When we got back from Woodbury, I made it all about me. And you needed your space, and I didn't give you that.
Oh, I didn't need my space from you.
I really appreciate Glenn for
See me.
saying that and acknowledging that. Are they about to do it right here, right now? Against the case? Oh, does he see something? He just sees the walkers. Hey, no, they're supposed to be... Aw, dang it, this isn't good. No, this is not good. I just already have a feeling something's going to happen because they're not watching when they're supposed to be watching. I don't know. I'm not trusting it. I don't think this is going to go well.
I gave you Michonne.
Dang it.
How do I know you'll keep your word? That you'll stop?
I wish Rick had some more leverage over him because I don't like the fact that it's the governor setting the terms right now.
You can have everything you want.
Andrea's like, which way am I going? For now, she's going with who she came with. All right, well, that was all really cool so far. I was wondering how long they were gonna play that out throughout the entire episode. The idea of, Rick and the governor sitting in that one room talking to each other. And it looked like they did it for almost, it looks like we just have one act left that's not going to have that. But that was just a really cool concept, first of all, for this episode. And then this choice that the governor just gave Rick right there, I don't know if they're going to show Rick's decision this episode or not, but I'll try to make my prediction. I think I don't want Rick to give Michonne up for that, and I don't think he will. I don't know yet, and I know that Rick has, been changing a lot this season, and some people think one way of it, some people think another way, and I feel like some ways it's been good, some ways it's been bad, but I just think that Rick still is not the type of person that's going to give Michonne up for that reason in order to get the benefits that the governor was offering, along with, of course, just saving the lives of all those people. I mean, I know that sounds like the obvious choice, like just give Michonne up and all these people are safe and you can have all the land you want and all that stuff. But I don't know. Like, really, you can say what you will about everything that Rick has started to do this season and how he's become more quick to kill and cold-blooded and all, and some of that's been good. But I just feel like it's decisions like this and moments like this that set him apart from the Shanes of the world. At least that's my thought right now and my hope.
Maybe Glenn Burl himself. He can take care of the whole crew. It's the best way to avoid a slaughter.
Of course you can't trust
That is a slaughter.
him. That is a slaughter.
Not at our end.
And that's all that matters, right?
We'll have to eliminate Rick sooner or later. A way we can all live side by side.
I mean, that is true. There is no way they're all going to live side by side. That's the unfortunate truth here. And everything I was just saying was under the obviously unreasonable assumption
Put yourself out there.
that the governor was actually going to, adhere to the things that he said. But especially considering how he's not, and they have no reason to really truly believe that he will, that's another good reason as to why they don't need to give Michonne up.
So I met this governor. Sat with him for quite a while.
Just the two of you?
Pretty nice guy, right?
Should've gone when we had the chance, bro.
Rick made one of those executive decisions and decided not to even mention the whole deal that the governor brought up. And I mean, I think that was a good call. Because he knows it's a lie anyway, I'm sure.
He gave me a choice.
Oh, he's telling Herschel.
Why are you telling me?
Is he wanting him to talk him out of it or something?
I'm hoping you can talk me out of it.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for this one. So they didn't show the decision yet. I kind of wish that they didn't show us the fact that the governor was planning on killing them anyway. I mean, obviously that's something that you can kind of just infer based off of who he is. But I kind of wish that they would have left that a little bit more ambiguous at this point, so that at the end of this episode, we as the audience are still sort of exactly in Rick's shoes and asking this question of, I mean, obviously this wouldn't necessarily be the right thing to do, and at this point it feels like going to war is the best option. But if this is for real, and if he is being legit, wouldn't this be kind of the answer? Would this be a justifiable way to go about solving this problem? It's one life for the safety of a whole bunch of others. I feel like that in and of itself is one of those big moral questions that The Walking Dead always poses, and I felt like they've managed to find a way to make that evolve over the course of the series. Because things that were those type of questions in season 1, it's not really a question anymore at this point in this season. Things that were those type of questions in season 2, not really even a question anymore at this point in this season. And these things were never answered either. These questions were never answered. Like, I mean, I'm thinking back to times like, in season 2 with Rick saving the guy who got his leg, who, fell on the thing and hurt his leg. Or other situations where they kind of asked, do you help this person or not? Do you kill this person or not? I mean, even just last episode, they had the thing where they passed by that guy in the, that was walking on the road while they were in their vehicle and decided not to help him. In season 1, that might have been like a huge, big talking point, a huge discussion or question that, people talked about after watching the episode, or that the characters talked about. I get the feeling that last episode, it was just something that happened and that nobody was really sitting around thinking, should they have helped that guy? Shouldn't they have helped that guy? So it's like things that used to be those kind of questions have gotten to the point where they're not even a question anymore. And like I said, it was never answered, because it's never answered whether or not it's right or wrong to do that in that situation. It was never answered whether it was justified for for Shane to kill Otis, or whether it was justified for anybody to do anything that they've done so far or that they haven't done. It's never answered whether that was right or wrong. It's just gotten to the point where these characters have grown and gotten so ingrained and entrenched in this world that they just do it. And whatever they did, it is what it is. And whether or not it was the right thing or the wrong thing has kind of started to not matter. So now they're just finding new ways to escalate that, and new ways to give them these moral dilemmas to continue to maybe, push their limit. So now we've got this thing with Michonne. It really kind of puts Rick in a precarious position, because he has to decide how he's going to handle this as a leader. And that's why I think this is such a good moral question or moral conundrum for this point in the season, because that's been a big point this entire season, or a big theme, this whole theme of leadership and what makes a leader, what makes a good leader, what makes a bad leader. We've watched both Rick and the governor kind of juggling this and figuring this out. The governor was talking this episode about, the issues that have arisen in their leadership qualities thus far. and how, the decisions that he makes as a leader, even if on paper they might sound good, can still have, other consequences in the long run, like him deciding to, just, split things down the middle and allow Rick and them to stay there would make him look weak as a leader and might hurt things within his own colony or whatever you want to call it. Well, in this situation now, Rick is posed with a question where he has to be like, okay, so am I going to be the kind of leader who will sacrifice one for the safety of many? Or am I going to be the kind of leader who's going to, sort of go to war to preserve the integrity of the cause, or however you want to put it? So I think both of those are things that are going to would play a big role in the overall, morale of his group moving forward. That's another reason why I think that Rick giving Michonne away wouldn't really be a good idea. And again, I'm kind of talking in the sense of this is actually a legit proposition right now. But obviously we know that it's all just a lie and that the governor isn't going to do it anyway. So that's kind of why I feel like, honestly, I feel like it would have been way better if they just hadn't shown us that, because not only does that give a little bit more weight to this moral question and it allows us as an audience to discuss it, it also feels like now, like we're just watching, just thinking, okay, Rick, don't be stupid. Don't do what we know is the wrong thing to do. But it's kind of like we've already gotten the answer. And, hindsight is 2020. For us, it's obvious what Rick needs to do. But for Rick, it's not as obvious just yet. So I really do kind of wish that they would have kind of kept us in Rick's shoes a little bit longer. At least, not told us this episode and waited until next episode to reveal that it was all, a facade. But regardless, I feel like that's, is really interesting. I really like the format of this episode. If I were to just talk about this episode as a whole, I think that it was a pretty strong one. Obviously, it wasn't necessarily on the level of the last one, but I mean, I wasn't necessarily expecting it to, because that was one of those, once in a season type of episodes. But I do feel like this episode also was kind of up there in the higher tier of episodes this season. Only because, again, I kind of like those episodes that are somewhat stripped back and just have one clear, specific focus and goal. And, this episode, the idea of Rick and the governor just being in that room for the majority of the episode and just talking to each other. And then us seeing how, like, this was affecting, the various, people that they're in charge of. Like literally, like just right outside, seeing, Daryl and that one guy connect, and Herschel and, the doctor or whatever his name is connect. All that was really interesting. And then also seeing them back at the prison and Merle wanting to just go and, shoot stuff up. I thought it was really cool how like they had that one central location for the episode and centered everything else around it and the discussion and dilemma that was happening within it. So that's another thing that I really liked about this episode. And I thought that the performances were great, especially between Rick and the governor. Like the governor, he had a few monologues there where he gave some more info on his backstory that were all pretty compelling. They did a good job of selling it, I think. And also, I really liked how throughout those things, they kind of kept the camera on Rick's face a lot of the time. They kind of kept it on. They kind of like, it's like they're putting you in Rick's mind of, I guess, trying to suss this guy out, and like maybe he's almost relating to him, but not really. What does he think of him? It's like, I don't know. It was interesting. It allows you to read. If it was just on the governor that whole time, I feel like you could just take it for what it is. But with them putting it on Rick's face, I feel like it allows you to try to read Rick's face in all these different ways, and thus get so many different readings and interpretations of what the governor is saying. And like, what that means again for being a leader. I don't know. I just really like how they had Rick just staring at him that whole time. And then, like I said, I don't know if it was intentional or what, but at some points it was like, they would film. So, I think it's called like, far side keying, where, the light, you're shooting on the darker side of the face. And I mean, that's a pretty common film technique. That's how they're usually doing it. But like, it seemed like it was even darker than usual right on his eye. And I was like, why does it feel like they're making a direct mirror of these two right now? And it looks like Rick is missing an eye as well, just like the governor was missing an eye talking to him. And I might be totally overthinking that, but it really felt like they were just kind of playing into the idea that these two are sort of parallel right now. So I really, those were some of the aspects about this episode that I just felt like were, you know, just so good. Also, I guess I may have been wrong about Glenn and Maggie looking away from their watch and, you know, that causing something bad to happen. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm going to completely write that off yet. What if something snuck in while they weren't watching? It very well may have just meant to be a little like funny, also sweet moment. But, you know, Glenn looking out and seeing the walkers and being like, I can't do this here. That just meant to be kind of funny. And that's why they went in there. But moments like that always have me suspicious. Like, I feel like they did it for a specific reason. And I feel like whenever they do something like that, it's always best when it is disguised as like a funny moment or just a regular dramatic moment. So that's why I'm like, that might still be foreshadowing something that somebody snuck in. Again, I might be overthinking completely. And you're looking at this and like, why are you talking about this? Nothing happens from that. Like, they were just hooking up. It's not that big of a deal. But I don't know. I feel like maybe something might while they weren't watching. But I'm like 99% sure I'm probably wrong. But I'm still going to think about that 1% if something did sneak in. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I saw it coming. So I guess that'll wrap up my thoughts for this episode. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about it. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. Head on over to Patreon for the full uncut reactions way ahead of the YouTube schedule. Until next time, I'll see you all later.